Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining Walking into the Light. This is Ryan Nolan. I appreciate you joining this channel. If you like this video, please hit the like, subscribe, share, or notification bell below. And also, there's a donation link in the description box below if you're interested in doing that. And if you do that, I'm very appreciative of that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. This video is going to be something that I kind of just thought about putting out kind of spontaneously as I was thinking throughout the day. And it's because, God has been revealing to me a lot of what's going on in the world through prayer. And what he wanted me to message was the fact that, there's going to be a lot of changes that are going to be taking place all over the world. And what I mean by that is people in positions of power are going to be basically, removed from that position because of their abuse of power. And it's because their intentions have always been to subdue the consciousness level of humanity. And it's always been about taking advantage of human beings by not making them aware of the truth, by hiding secrets, by doing things behind closed doors that further perpetuate the lies. So it's always been about the darkness. And a lot of these people that are, in these positions of authority, they're not even aware of the fact that they're actually doing the bidding for the devil. And that's because they're unaware of who they are, because their consciousness level is so low. And that's one of the things I wanted to mention, was just how important it is to understand that each person in the world is tied to the energy within that one consciousness that I've been talking about in other videos. And that one consciousness and that one energy that they're attached to within the one energy. For a lot of these people in positions of power, if not all of them, are in lower energy levels. And that's what we as human beings, I think, we probably understand at some level within us, that the people in power seem to be abusing their power. They seem to be in positions of power because they really are hungry for power, basically. And the thing is that people in positions of power, you don't want people that are hungry for power to be in those positions. You want people that get groomed to be put in those positions because of their love of the people and their desire to represent the people in an authentic way that really reflects the opinions, the thoughts, the desires, and the aspirations of the people that they're representing. And it's the exact opposite. And you can't have it be the exact opposite the way that it is if it's not completely intentional, because it isn't intentional. And it's because this world has been plagued by darkness, because the lower energy levels have been manipulated by the devil to put people that have that are unaware of themselves, who can be easily manipulated by the devil, to have demonic entities, possess their bodies, to take control of their body, to make them do certain things that they wouldn't normally do, even though they are in these low energy levels, to make them do even more heinous things. That's why, we find the world the way that it is today, is because it's been manipulated by the energy outside of the universe. The energy of fear, which is the devil, has been able to incorporate the fear, which is the illusion of fear, because fear isn't real, in order to take control and hostage of the human collective soul by infusing the lower energy levels with souls that are unaware of themselves, that are unaware of the fact that we're all one. And if you think about it, that makes sense, because to be unaware of yourself is to be unaware of the fact that we're all connected as one consciousness. That is the lowest level that you can be. It's the inverse of being completely enlightened to the fact that we're all one consciousness, that everyone is a version of ourself. And that was the state of being that Jesus was at. And if you think of the inversion of that, which would be the devil or the devilish energy, it would be the person that is completely unaware of who they are, completely unaware of the fact that we're one consciousness. And in order to perpetuate that lie, they have to create the illusion of being in control and that they're separate from everybody else. And if you think about it, when you think about people that are in politics these days in government, isn't that one of those consistent things that we can think of? One of the consistent themes that I think of when I think of politicians right now is the fact that they think they're above everybody. And that only comes when you're completely unaware of the fact that we're all one. How could you be above anyone if you knew deep down inside that we're all one consciousness? The short answer to that is you couldn't. So it means that they're unaware of the fact that we're one consciousness. They're legitimately unaware. They're at a lower energy level, and they're being manipulated by the devil to do certain things that continue to subdue the consciousness level of the overall human collective by passing laws that are restrictive, that, there's so many ways in which these politicians and people in government and the people that can influence the world right now are able to use their power to subdue the consciousness level of humanity. And some of them are unaware of the fact that they're doing it because they're being controlled by satanic forces, by dark, evil forces. So the reason I wanted to, talk about this video today, or what I wanted to talk about on this video today, was not only of the state of the current affairs, of the fact that there's these, there's going to be a lot of change going on between the people in positions of power and a new leadership that's going to be coming in, that's going to be more thought-provoking, that's going to be more representative of the people of today, that is going to be more faith-filled. The people that are going to be in leadership roles throughout the world now are going to have the they're going to have the background of someone that has a good, outstanding upbringing. They have a solid emotional state of being. They don't criticize people. They don't put other people down to make themselves feel better. They stay away from insulting others, even if they disagree with what the other person is saying. They have a high level of integrity. The types of things that we've lost sight of as important for our leadership figures are the types of things that are going to be instilled as the top priorities within those people being put in leadership roles. So it's going to bring us back to that state of being where we're going to remember what it's like to have a real leader. We're going to remember what it's like to have people that, really have our back. And we're going to think, wow, how did we let things get off course for so long? And it's because of the fact that, the consciousness level of humanity as a whole has been so low. But now we're going through a spiritual mass awakening. And that was the other thing I wanted to talk about, is the spiritual mass awakening that we're going through right now. That's going to cause all of the differences and all of the changes in the world. It's going to come from all of the people, all of the souls all over the world that are now realizing who they really are. And they're now coming into realization that we're all one. And when you come into that realization and you really let it soak in and you understand what it means to you at the most basic level, at a day-to-day level, you'll remember what it really means, or you'll understand what it truly means. And that is that when you experience your day-to-day life, when you interact with people and you really believe that you're one consciousness with everyone, all of the fear and anxiety goes away, and you're living in a stream of consciousness. You're living within inside of your own consciousness without worrying about anything, because you realize everything is just a reflection of how you feel about yourself inside. And that's how we're all connected as one consciousness, is because everyone is going through that same reflection of themselves at every present moment. Every soul is going through that. We're not separate. We're all in this together. And because of the mass spiritual awakening that's going on in every single nation across the world right now, and the media is not talking about it because the media is part of it. The media is part of perpetuating the lies and the fact that we're all separate. The illusion of separation is being perpetuated by the media so that we're controlled. Because when you feel like we're only our body, when we're only our ego, we're easily controlled because we think very small of ourselves, and we shy away from thinking authentically. We shy away from stepping outside the so-called, box, thinking outside the box or stepping outside the box and doing something different. All of those things are looked down upon when you are living in an egocentric world. And we've been living in a very egocentric world for a very long time. And if you think about it, it's become worse and worse, because now it's gotten to the point where nobody wants to step out of line. Nobody wants to say anything that's considered a little bit different, or a little bit, what's the word, not necessarily, something that everyone is going to talk about, and it's maybe different or unique. Those types of words that are being placed on people, like different or unique, are the types of things that people have been, that are really worried about being looked at that way. And that shouldn't be the way that people are, people should not be worried about being different or unique. We got to bring back individuality. We got to bring back the idea that it's okay to step out and say what you really think, no matter what other people are going to say, because once you realize we're all one consciousness and everything is connected at one, and that there's really nothing outside of yourself, you'll be able to speak more freely and be more present. And that's what, the people in positions of power are really afraid of, is for us as a human collective to come to the realization that we're always in the present moment. And this is my third thing that I wanted to talk about. The first thing was the fact that there's going to be major changes. And the second thing was the fact that we're going through a spiritual mass awakening across all nations all over the world right now that are bringing forth these changes. And the third thing is that, it just escaped me, actually, now that I think about it. The third thing would be the fact that, what did I just say? um, spiritual mass awakening, and then the third thing would be the fact that the fact that we're coming to the realization through this mass awakening that we're all connected as one. And what that really means is that there's nothing to be afraid of. But what the ultimate end result is going to be, and what God is pushing for every human soul to come to the understanding of, is that all there is the present moment. Everything else is an illusion, because you as an ego is an illusion. So you as a body are connected to everything that's going on around you within every experience as one energy. So you're not separate from anything. You're everything that you experience. So when you look at yourself the way that it truly is, and you look at yourself as the way God sees you and the way that it truly is in reality, it's the fact that we as human souls we are basically able to it's dependent upon our faith as to what type of life we live within our human soul. And the human soul has the ability to accept everything as yourself. Half of that, a small portion of it, it's really up to you as the human soul, what you're willing to accept. But the reality is that you are everything. And if you have the faith, if you have infinite faith, if you have complete faith in God, and you have complete faith in yourself, you will come to the realization that living in truth means that you are everything that you experience. And that if you don't feel that right now, it's only because you haven't enlarged your faith enough to accept everything that you're experiencing as yourself. You have hiccups, or you have things that are keeping you from accepting other people. There's things that are keeping you from accepting other experiences outside what appear to be outside yourself. But once you come to the realization that everything is you, everything settles down, and you come to realize there's nothing to worry about. Absolutely nothing to worry about. And when you have nothing to worry about, you step into every moment not worrying about the next terrible thing that's going to happen, or the next thing that's going to happen that could take you off track, that a lot of us think about in this world right now. We're going to be thinking about, what's the next positive thing that's going to happen? What's the next thing I'm going to learn about myself? What's the next positive, exciting thing that's going to happen in my life? And because of that, all of the distractions that are happening outside your body right now will fade away, because it doesn't matter, because it's just you, right? If you know that everything's just you and it doesn't matter because you're not afraid of yourself, you slowly drift away from the dream, I call it, or I call the life the dream, or what you see in front of you is a dream, because it's really an illusion. Everything that's real is inside of you. Everything you see is just a projection of what's real. But if you understand that, then you'll understand that everything that you're experiencing around you is simply an illusion or a projection of who you really are. And because you know that, and you're stepping with every step that you make within your life, you're understanding that ahead of time, you're going to be completely comfortable and relaxed. Everything sort of fades away on the peripheral vision of what you are experiencing, because it has no bearing on how you feel about yourself. Because it's like, and I've said this in other videos, when you say something about yourself, and I'll use an example. If you say something like, I feel like I'm overweight, and it's something that you're very self-conscious about, but you've told yourself that to yourself many times before. But then you get to a point, maybe a month or so down the road after doing a diet, and you talk to someone else, and you ask them if you feel like they think that you've lost weight because you feel like you've started losing weight. And they say, no, I think you're still overweight. You're going to feel bad about yourself, and your self-confidence is going to go down, and you're going to think less of yourself. And because of that, your consciousness level is going to drop. Your faith in yourself is going to drop. And the faith in yourself is going to drop because you're not believing in that moment in time that what that person is saying is exactly how you used to feel about yourself at one point in time. You're forgetting that person is within you. You're forgetting that we're all connected. And because of that, you're going to put yourself down because you feel more judged, thinking that person is from an outside consciousness, which isn't true, and judging you for something that you used to be very self-conscious about and continue to be self-conscious about. Or but that's the thing, that's where we all fall into that trap a lot of times, right? But if we see things for what they really are, and we understand that no matter who I'm speaking with or who I'm interacting with, all they're going to tell me is something that I used to feel a way about myself in the past, it doesn't really matter. Like, it'd be the same as, playing a recording of your voice that you played, when you had those feelings about yourself, about your weight, and you played and you recorded and you recorded that you thought that you were overweight, and then a month later you played it back and you listened to it, you wouldn't let that affect you, would you? But you are when you think that that other person that you're speaking to is outside of your own consciousness, which isn't true. So that's the way I look at it, is that we have to see things for what they really are. And the thing is that when you do that, it changes the entire game. And that's what people don't realize. And it changes everyone's lives for the better, because there's nothing to overcome. See, the thing is, we are programmed to believe that there's something to overcome. There's something that we have to do. There's something that is needed for us to get to the next stage in our life. When we're younger, it's when are we going to graduate? When are we going to, what college are we going to go to? When are we going to get married? When are we going to, have our first kid? And it goes all the way down to when you're going to retire, all those things, right? There's always something that we have to be able, we're being told that we have to be able to achieve or overcome in order to validate who we are. And that's purposefully done to keep us longing for what we already have. And I'm here to tell you already have all the things that you've been longing for. You have all of the self-confidence within you. You just got to let it be unveiled to you by seeing things how it really is. And how it really is that there's nothing to worry about when you see things as everything is yourself. Like I said, everything fades away in the background, and you can just be content with who you are and be relaxed. And when you do that, you're living in the present moment, which is exactly what God wants his children to do. And that's what, the third point that I wanted to point out was that we are always living in the present moment, whether we realize it or not. But when you consciously know what the truth is, when you consciously understand that you are everything that there is, and that you are not the small, person that you make yourself out to be, you're not. And that when you step out of that role, if you test what I'm saying and you actually try to do things that your ego says you can't do right now, and you do those things, you'll realize that just the act of doing it gets rid of the fear, because you realize no permanent damage is done no matter what happens, whether you fail from it, whether you succeed from it. The very fact that you did something that you thought you couldn't do, the very simple fact that you pushed yourself to do something that you thought you could never do, and you're still here, and it had no effect on how you feel about yourself, you're going to realize there's nothing that can stop you. And it's just the act of doing something that you didn't think you could do before. And when you do that, it takes away the fear of having to not only do something, but accomplish something and be successful at it. The success of it will come. The results from doing something different will come, and becoming better at it. But knowing that you've accepted the challenge, you've accepted the fact that you are more than what you're saying you are now, will break the chain. It will break the egoic mind's control over every single human being, and everything is going to change for the better. I can guarantee you that. So that's what I had to say for today. Was, there's so much to look forward to. There's so much exciting stuff happening in the world. There's all these changes happening. It's because of the mass spiritual awakening. And to remember my third point, always understand that you are everything that there is, and that there's nothing to fear, because you are everything. And when you live that way, you can live in the present moment. And the best thing about that is, when you live in the present moment, is you're not thinking about anything, because you're not worrying about what other people think, because there is no other person that has a consciousness outside of you to give you any other opinion other than the one that you already have about yourself. So who cares what another soul says, right? So that's what I have for today, everybody. God bless you. Stay prayed up, and have a great rest of the week.